forward, which is this show's really about the guests, right? And
it's an important conversation, and for some people it's almost like one of the most important conversations is to pay attention to not just to what is being spoken about, but who is speaking. And I think that's right. I think there's two things that are profoundly true. One is that the whole thing about ideas is that they can spread from mind to mind. I mean, that's certainly Ted's whole belief. You know, this is about spreading ideas. So on the one profound truth is that this you know, both Ted and this podcast needs to be absolutely anchored in the desire to share ideas that really matter. The second truth that is really profound, though, is that voices do matter. It's a fact about humans that we hear from different people differently. It's much easier to hear from someone who shares your lived experience. For example, what they say will seem more relevant to you. And amazing ideas sometimes are much more likely to come from other lived experiences than from yours.
I want to make sure that we point out, I alluded to this before, that you're stepping down as the host of this podcast, but continuing on at TED in many capacities. One of the things you're trying to focus on a bit more is something that perhaps the listeners don't know enough about, which is the Audacious Project, which is truly audacious and a long list of audacious things that you've done at TED. Tell us about that and what it means and some of the achievements from that.
I've thought more and more about what it takes to actually turn a good idea into action. Often what it takes is funding at scale. It's as simple as that. You need to build something, and it can cost money. And the world of philanthropy, I've long been a bit frustrated by, on two sides. One is just seeing the awful experience that leading social entrepreneurs have to go through, where many of them spend more than 50% of their time trying to raise money. And they do it by having one meeting at a time with donors. There's no equivalent to the sort of fundraising magic that can happen in the for-profit world of, armies of venture capitalists, investors, and an IPO, for example. There's no equivalent to an IPO. And then the second thing that's frustrating to me is that a lot of philanthropic pitches that are created often seem, to be blunt, boring to the people best positioned to fund them. They are asking typically for incremental, support